2018 season. Here with Jordin Young, and you play quarterback, and Hunter Gauthier, you play
wide receiver, defensive end.
All right. Coming off a pretty successful season last year. So how's the off season, summer, fall? How's the fall training camp been so far?
So far, it's been a grind. We've been out all summer on the football field, working out in the weight room, putting up some big numbers. For passing week, we hit a lot of tournaments up. Really got the connections going with me and the wide receivers. The defense started communicating a lot, so it's been really useful.
Now I know I noticed in another interview you said you had missed a little of the passing league, so the chemistry wasn't there earlier at first. But now that you've been there and the chemistry's been on, talk about that a little more.
So at first the wide receivers from last year, Ryan, Jordin, and Kate Weaver, I only threw to them, and having some new wide receivers that I had not really thrown to in a while, it's getting used to their speeds and how they catch the ball and things like that. And over the course of maybe about a month, just throwing with them all the time, it's really gotten to the point where I can put the ball anywhere and they can come down.
And your impressions so far?
Yeah, the chemistry wasn't really there at first because Jordin was at track for the greater part of passing league, and then I was too, just not as long as he was. But once I got out there, we have a new coach, and he's been really working with us a lot, making sure that we get our routes clean and crisp, get the timing down so that Jordin can get us the ball at the right times, at the right distances. And once we started to develop it more over summer, in our last passing league at La Jolla, that's when we really started to grow, especially in that one day. And we developed a lot through that day. And since then, I saw a really big spark in our team, even with the linemen that weren't out there. Our team really began to pick up after that.
Now, because you guys graduated, obviously, like you said, Kate Weaver was a really good player,
Yeah.
and Ryan, Jewel, and all that.
It's hot out here.
What this year? I noticed on the roster, you guys are pretty senior and junior heavy laden. It seems like yourself a junior and you're a junior.
I'm gonna be a
senior. Okay. Who besides you guys? Who else should people look out for on the squad this year?
Jack Browning, Joseph Gonzalez, Stephen Christini on the defense is definitely going to help us out. I'd say Gianni Grimm, Nathan Jones, Alex Leggett. Those last three are our offensive linemen.
Okay.
And we kind of got a hidden gem. He was on JV last year, Harrison Pattengale. He's our biggest guy, and it's kind of pretty hard to miss him. He'll definitely be noticed this season.
And when you say biggest, as in height or
He's
width?
probably
Both?
probably about 6'2", 6'3", and like
Okay.
320.
Wow, big guy, and he can move.
Yeah.
What it sounds like.
Yeah.
Offensive line, defensive tackle, maybe.
Defensive line. I don't know if he can, if he's quite on offensive line. Defensive line for sure though.
Now you guys obviously start off with El Centro Southwest. You guys traveled down there this year, so that's always an interesting trip for the East County teams. Long bus trip, and it's usually 100-something degrees because I've made those trips down there, and it's always been interesting. The toughness of your schedule, do you guys think that prepares you guys for the league? Because I know you guys obviously switched leagues this year over to the valley side, and obviously not on the hill side. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I generally liked being in the Hills League just because there were, I wouldn't say harder teams, but more, harder teams that kind of just, they had coaches and players that had a really good program already in set, like Helix, Steel Canyon, Grossmont. But switching into this Valley League, it kind of opened our eyes and really made us think we're not necessarily in an easier league, but it just, being in a heat without the Helix and the Steel Canyon, it makes us feel like we're better prepared for what's going to come at us this season.
Yeah, definitely. In the Hills League, there was definitely a lot more talent. You had Steel Canyon and Helix playing state championship games. One of the toughest leagues in this area by far. But in the Valley League, with teams like Monte Vista, like they got Jamal McClendon and Blake Schmidt, and they're going to have a really big season. believe that we're headed into the season severely slept on social media wise. CIF, we're top of the ranks, but right now we're not even on the boards for social media platforms. So I think we're being forgotten, and I'm kind of hoping that with this new schedule, being a new division, new league, and with our core athletes, I believe we can make a big impression this season.
Now you talked about a new division, obviously new league also. You guys moved from Division 2 because we're Division 2 last year. Now it's in Division 3. What is your thoughts on that?
I think as our team grew smaller in size, because as we were freshmen, we had Spencer Moyer and Taj Broomfield. They were really big athletes, and we have definitely gotten a lot smaller in size and in the weight room. So I think, in my opinion, going down a division is kind of fit for us as our group specifically. But like right now, our freshman squad is kind of looking pretty good. So by the time they get to varsity, and maybe our school might move up back up to D2, they would definitely be fit for D2. But I think we'll be able to compete very well this year.
I agree, but I would say if we were to stay in Division 2, we would definitely be able to handle our own and be kind of the 5-5, 6-5 team we were last year. Moving down into Division 3, we have a better chance of blowing teams out and really making that statement that like we're the Wolfpack.
Now on your schedule, I already talked to Santana. They a couple guys told me that you guys were the game that they were looking forward most to. Is there a game on your guys' schedule that you guys looking forward most to?
Definitely not Santana. I would say Monte Vista.
Monte Vista?
I agree.
Monte Vista for sure.
And why is that?
Because we're going for the league title this year, and that is the one team we think we'll have to beat to get that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, especially with all the hype around. There are a couple of players that have already committed to Division I schools. I believe that we can definitely put Monte Vista in their place. In my opinion, I think we can compete very well against them, and I think if we put up a good enough fight and we do well throughout the season because they are our last game, that we can definitely have a good game against that team.
Having watched you guys, watching West Hills teams over the years with Coach Ash and staff, toughness is always a word that I've always heard. Obviously, you guys compete every time. Never count you guys out. Talk about that toughness.
Well, from the beginning of our summer practices, it all starts with toughness. We grind, we work out, we're really pushed to our limits every single day during our summer workouts, and when we get into the season, it reflects, because when it comes down to the fourth quarter, last 2 minutes, as you can see in that Valhalla game last season, it came down to the last 2 minutes, and everyone on the team was still fighting, ready to score that last touchdown to win the game. And having that really push to the limits grind practices all throughout summer in the heat and early in the morning, it really makes it to where we can withstand anything when it comes to the regular season.
Yeah, I believe our emphasis on toughness really does reflect, especially when we're going against the other teams that kind of have a lot more talent than we do, coming in without doing any of the off-season work, and I believe that the toughness really does show, especially for our JV season. During practices, we were not very successful, but in the games when it really came down to it, we were very successful and we ended up going undefeated. And I know JV is a different thing, but I believe that our toughness throughout the program that year really helped us. And then last year, we did lean on the seniors a lot more. So our class that came up from the JV didn't really get to show what we had, except for Jordin, obviously being quarterback. But this year, I believe we'll be able to come out and show what we had and bring back what we were able to prove that year.
Now, obviously, you as a quarterback, you ran the ball a lot this year. Do you see yourself running the ball quite a bit this year, or working on your passing game a little more?
I would say there's gonna be a lot of both.
A lot of both.
I'd say towards the beginning of the season, we might establish the run game very heavy, and then once we get towards the end of the season, you'll start to notice the pass game a lot.
Now, will he be one of your top receivers?
I do believe so.
Talk about how you progressed. Coming up from the JV, from JV level to varsity.
JV, I was a pretty impact player. I played multiple positions, but coming to junior year, I got a concussion, very minor, only missed the first game. But I didn't really show out junior year. I didn't get a lot of opportunities. I was moved from linebacker to defensive end, third to last week into the season. And the only real game that I actually played defensive end was against Grossmont. And then I didn't get to start wide receiver. I started tight end, but we didn't run too much tight end stuff. Only in like certain games we might have. So I didn't have much of a season last year, and that kind of pushed me to work harder to kind of bring my game up again and make sure that I didn't have the same season that I had last year, because I plan on having this be my last season, especially at West Hills, and I really want to have a big year this time.
Now, one last thing before we wrap up here. Overall, obviously, Coach Ash, one of the weaknesses I've read online from a couple other people is the line size and also lack of breakaway speed. Is there anything you guys are working on to overcome those weaknesses?
Our offensive line has been putting in a lot of work in the weight room and getting bigger. We might not have the biggest line, but 4 out of the 5, even all 5 of our players may be some of the smartest linemen in the league. And they know how to get things done and how to do them properly. And if you're concerned about the breakaway speed, I would just wait to watch this first game. It'll be exciting.
So, zoom speed, huh? How about you? Any thoughts on what I've been reading online and just talking to people?
I agree. We definitely are down in size, like I was saying before. But again, what Jordin was saying, we definitely do got a lot of smarts because Coach Ash is very football intelligent, and he's definitely passing that on to our linemen, especially with Nathan Jones being a returning starter. He's definitely going to be a top lineman in the league, if not the top. And then breakaway speed. I believe that our off-season work with our new strength and conditioning coach, we've been focusing a lot on short sprint distance stuff, a lot of like 5-yard sprints. So I think as athletes, we're getting better at breaking down and being able to move around better. And I think we'll be able to, especially with the run game, I think our fullbacks will be able to break down and move around faster this year.
All right. One thing that is there any one thing that people should know about this year's West Hills, this year's version of the West Hills Wolfpack? Anything? If that's not out there already on social media and whatnot, anything. If you're just coming in wanting to watch a game, what's one thing that they should know about you guys?
We're not giving up. We can be down 21, 35 points in a game, and it could be fourth quarter, 3 minutes left. You'll have us fight till the end. That's one thing. We'll never quit. We'll always push through, no matter how hard it gets.
Yeah, last year we did have a couple seniors that we would notice start to hang their heads once we got around like the beginning of the fourth quarter and we were down, even by a couple of points. We did have a couple of seniors that weren't able to lead, but this class, I believe, will be able to pick up the rest of the team and be able to lead the team in situations like that where we're down by 20, even maybe 30 points in bad situations, even if victory isn't in sight. And it's just like a really difficult situation, I believe we'll still be able to push through and try to make that gap even smaller and even pass it.
All right, guys. So this West Hills Wolfpack, don't sleep on them. They're going to be really fun, exciting to watch. Jordin Young, Hunter Gauthier. I'm Adam Paul from ecpreps.com. Come check out a game, because I tell you what, they're not a team to sleep on this year. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you.